This chart shows Rotten Tomatoes scores for the film Citizen Vigilante, a dismal 8% from critics, but a massive 94% from audiences. Despite negative reviews, it began a rapid climb, reaching #1 on Apple and Amazon streaming charts. The project was directed by Uwe Boll, a German filmmaker who has spent 2 decades building a reputation for producing low-budget, critically panned cinema. To lead the cast, Boll selected Armie Hammer, an actor attempting to return to the screen after being largely exiled from mainstream Hollywood. While the film was banned in Germany due to its volatile themes, it received a massive promotional boost from the world's wealthiest man. Musk made the movie available to stream for free to his hundreds of millions of followers. The success of Citizen Vigilante relies on this specific alignment of government bans, elite endorsements, and a controversial lead actor. To understand how this film reached the top of the charts, we must examine the mechanics of the rage it was designed to trigger. The film is set in a generic European city. It establishes a cold environment where citizens feel unprotected and the social contract is failing. The director hooks the audience by tapping into visceral, recognizable fears. The opening sequence depicts an unprovoked street attack on a mother and child in broad daylight. From there, the script depicts a total failure of the legal system. In a pivotal scene, a judge refuses to issue jail time to violent offenders, granting them a mere probation instead. Boll uses this narrative to target the helplessness populations feel toward their governments. He is mining the real-world frustration regarding street crime and bureaucratic indifference. By starting with recognizable truths about systemic failure, the film lowers the audience's psychological defenses. This shared sense of injustice prepares the viewer for the more radical message that follows. Once the audience is angry at the system, the narrative executes a pivot. It takes that broad frustration and funnels it toward a specific scapegoat. The film bypasses socio-political nuance to frame immigrants, and specifically Muslims, as the sole violent threats responsible for the collapse of society. The protagonist's actions escalate from standard cinematic vigilantism into a mass casualty revenge fantasy. He hunts down the teenagers from the trial and executes them all in a single sequence. The film concludes with an explicit call for violence. In the final scene, the main character delivers a manifesto calling for the physical extermination of Islamic extremists and the political left. By the final act, the familiar rhythm of the vigilante thriller has been redirected. The story uses the audience's desire for justice to deliver a message of racial exclusion and xenophobic extremism. Historically, a film with these production values and extremist themes would be ignored by major distributors and fade into obscurity. The modern digital landscape has removed those filters. By streaming the film for free on social media for 48 hours, elite figures ensured the movie bypassed traditional gatekeepers to reach a global audience. Right-wing politicians across Europe capitalized on this momentum. Figures like Dominic Tarczynski championed the film's narrative, presenting the fictional protagonist as a reflection of real-world necessity. This high-level amplification changes how the audience views the protagonist. When tech billionaires and politicians endorse the story, the character is validated as a hero to be emulated, rather than a warning of a social collapse. Algorithm-driven platforms and elite endorsements have effectively removed the friction that once protected the public from raw political extremism. Uwe Boll designed this polarization into the film's release strategy. The intense public outrage generates the massive visibility required to drive an independent production to the top of the global charts. Boll argues that the film is a necessary pushback against a polite society that refuses to acknowledge crime. In his view, shocking the audience is the only way to spark a conversation about migration and safety. Critics see a darker objective. By framing mass murder as the only logical response to migration, the film provides high-budget validation for extremist violence. The film intentionally blurs the line between a universal desire for justice and a craving for racist revenge. It offers the viewer a sense of catharsis that is inextricably linked to political radicalization. In an algorithmic age where anger equals engagement, propaganda doesn't need to be a masterpiece. It simply needs to strike the exact nerve that makes a society snap.